The stars looked different from the bridge of the Pathfinder *. Captain Tae-ho Kim stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the vastness of space. The human ship moved slowly through the Epsilon Eridani system, far from Earth. "Captain, we have something on our sensors," said Officer Sun, her eyes fixed on the glowing screen in front of her. Tae-ho walked to her station. "What is it?" "Not sure yet, but it's big, and there are many of them." Juri Park, the ship's diplomat, joined them at the console. Her job was to help humans talk to any aliens they might meet. So far, humans had only found simple life forms on other planets, nothing that could build spaceships. Until today. "They're coming closer," said Sun. "I can get a visual now." The main screen lit up, and everyone on the bridge fell silent. Ships. Alien ships. They were dark and looked like the shells of Earth's ancient beetles, but much bigger. The sides had strange markings that glowed red against the blackness of space. "Send the greeting message," ordered Tae-ho. They had practiced this moment for years. First contact. Juri pressed some buttons on her console. "Message sent, Captain." Minutes passed. The bridge crew waited, barely breathing. "They're responding," said Sun. "Getting a visual transmission." The screen changed. What they saw made several crew members step back. The alien had gray skin that looked like it was made of small scales. Its head was wide with 3 yellow eyes in a triangle pattern. But what shocked the humans most was what the alien sat on. It wasn't a chair. The creature beneath the alien was massive, with a long neck and rows of sharp teeth. It looked like a mix between Earth's old dinosaurs and something from the deepest ocean. The beast had metal parts attached to its body, and its eyes showed pain and rage. "The translator is working," said Juri. "We should hear them in English." The alien spoke, its voice deep and rough even through the computer. "I am Commander Krath of the Tuk Empire. You have entered our hunting grounds." Tae-ho stepped forward. "I am Captain Tae-ho Kim of the Earth ship Pathfinder *. We come in peace and friendship." The alien made a sound like rocks grinding together. It took a moment for the humans to realize it was laughing. "Peace, friendship, these are the words of the weak," said Commander Krath. He pulled on something attached to the beast he rode, and it roared in pain. "The strong rule, the strong ride, the weak serve or die." More aliens appeared on the screen. Each sat on a different kind of monster. Some had multiple heads. Others had spikes covering their bodies. All had the same metal parts attached to them, and all looked like they were being forced to obey. "We have conquered 12 star systems," continued Krath. "Our war beasts tear apart any who stand against us. Your species is new to us. What beasts do you ride into battle, humans?" Juri stepped forward. "We don't force creatures to carry us into battle. We work together with other species through cooperation, not control." The alien commander made that grinding laugh again. "Then you will not last long in this galaxy. We are coming to your world soon. Prepare tribute or prepare for war." The screen went black. "They've cut communication," said Sun. "Their ships are moving away, but I'm detecting signals. They're calling others." Tae-ho turned to his crew. His face was serious but calm. "Send a message to Earth immediately. Tell them what we've seen." He looked back at the screen, now showing the retreating alien ships, "and tell them to get ready. The galaxy is not as empty as we thought." As the Pathfinder * turned back toward home, one thought was on everyone's mind. The aliens rode monsters, but what would humans ride? The meeting room at Earth Defense Headquarters was packed. Captain Tae-ho Kim stood in front of large screens showing the Tuk ships and their war beasts. Leaders from all Earth nations and colony worlds sat in stunned silence. "That's everything we saw," Tae-ho finished. "They cut contact and left, but they sent signals to other ships. We think they're gathering their forces." General Sang-min Park, head of Earth's defense forces, stood up. He was an older man with gray hair and a face that showed years of difficult decisions. "How much time do we have?" he asked. Ji-woo Choi, the science officer from the Pathfinder, stepped forward. She was small but spoke with confidence. "Based on their ship speeds, maybe 6 months," she said, "but there's something else you need to see." Ji-woo touched her tablet, and new images appeared on the screens. They showed close-up views of the war beasts. "Look here," she pointed. "And here. These aren't natural creatures. They've been changed, built from parts of different animals. And these metal pieces aren't just armor." She zoomed in on one image. Everyone could see small devices attached to the beast's head and spine. "These are control devices," Ji-woo explained. "They cause pain to make the creatures obey. I found signs that the beasts have parts from at least 14 different species. The Tak don't just conquer planets. They take the strongest animals and remake them into weapons." The room was quiet as everyone thought about what this meant. Then a new message came in. The main screen changed to show Commander Kraft again, sitting on his massive beast. "Humans of Earth," he said, his 3 eyes staring at them. "The Tak Empire claims your worlds and all creatures on them. You will give us 10,000 of your strongest animals for our war beast program. You will also give us half of your food, metals, and technology." Kraft pulled on his control device, making his beast roar in pain. "If you refuse, we will take everything and leave your cities in ruins. You have 6 of your months to prepare our tribute, or prepare to die." The screen went dark. President Lin stood up. "We need options. What weapons do we have that can fight these Tak and their monsters?" General Park had been quiet until now. He looked down at something under the table, then spoke. "Madam President, I have a different idea," he said. To everyone's surprise, he whistled softly. From under the table, a dog appeared. It was an old German shepherd with gray around its muzzle. It sat calmly by Park's side. Some people looked confused. What did a dog have to do with fighting aliens? "This is Max," said Park. "He served with me for 10 years during the Mars Rebellion. When my unit was trapped behind enemy lines, Max carried messages through gunfire. When I was wounded, he stayed by my side for 2 days until help came." Park patted the dog's head gently. "The Tak think strength comes from forcing others to obey. They use pain to control their war beasts, but that's not the only kind of strength." He looked around the room. Humans have lived alongside animals for thousands of years, not by forcing them, but by working together. Dogs, horses, falcons, they chose to help us, and we helped them. Ji-woo suddenly understood. "You're not suggesting." "I am," Park nodded. "The Tak ride monsters that hate them, that only obey because of pain. What if we fought back with animals that stand with us by choice?" Many people started talking at once. Some thought it was crazy. How could dogs and other Earth animals fight giant war beasts? But President Lin raised her hand for silence. "Tell me more, General," she said. "What exactly are you proposing?" Park looked down at Max, who looked back with complete trust in his eyes. "They rode monsters," Park said. "I think we should ride loyalty." 2 weeks after the meeting, Yeon-ho Lee walked into the new training center in the mountains of what was once called New Zealand. As Earth's top animal trainer, she had been called from her wildlife center in Korea to lead something called Operation Loyal Companion. The large building was filled with people and animals. Dogs of all breeds, horses, birds of prey, dolphins in special water tanks, and even some wild animals like wolves and bears that had been raised by humans. "Ms. Lee, thank you for coming," said General Park, walking up to her with his dog Max at his side. "We need your help." "I still don't understand what this is all about," Yeon-ho said. "The message just said it was about Earth's defense." Park led her to a quieter room where screens showed the Tak and their war beasts. He explained the situation and his plan. "So you want to train animals to fight alien monsters?" Yeon-ho asked, shocked. "That's cruel." These are our friends, not weapons. No, you misunderstand, Park said quickly. We don't want to force them to fight. We want to work with them, as partners, like humans always have. But we need to make the communication better. He waved to someone, and Ji-woo entered the room carrying a small device. This is what we've been working on, Ji-woo said, showing the small metal circle to Eun-ho. We call it the bond. It's a neural interface that helps animals and humans understand each other better. Eun-ho looked suspicious. Is this like the pain devices the talk use? No, Ji-woo shook her head firmly. It doesn't control or hurt. It translates thoughts and feelings both ways. The animal must choose to wear it and can take it off any time. To prove her point, Ji-woo knelt down by Max. The old dog was wearing one of the devices on his collar. She touched a button on her wristband, and the device on Max's collar lit up with a soft blue light. Max, can you show Eun-ho how this works? Ji-woo asked. To Eun-ho's amazement, she heard a gentle voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Hello, I am Max. I help my friend. The voice was simple but clear. It doesn't give them human words in their heads, Ji-woo explained. It reads their intentions and feelings and puts them into words we can understand. And it helps them understand us better too. Eun-ho knelt down slowly and reached out to Max, who sniffed her hand and wagged his tail. He likes you, Park said with a smile. The bond just makes clearer what good trainers like you already know, what animals are thinking and feeling. Eun-ho stood up, thinking hard. But even with better communication, how can Earth animals stand against those monster war beasts? Park walked to a window overlooking the training grounds. Outside, people were working with various animals. The talk think bigger means stronger. They build monsters that are huge and fierce, Park said. But they miss something important. Their beasts fight because they must. Our animals will fight because they choose to for the humans they care about. And that makes a difference? Eun-ho asked. All the difference, Park nodded. In battle, the talk must constantly control their beasts with pain. But our teams will move as one, with trust. Plus, we're not asking our animal partners to fight alone. He pointed to engineers working on special equipment sized for different animals. We're building gear to protect them and enhance their natural strengths, not changing what they are, but making them safer and more effective at what they already do well. Eun-ho watched as a handler worked with a falcon wearing a small helmet with enhanced vision displays. Will it be enough? She asked softly. I don't know, Park admitted. But I do know that the bond between humans and animals is one of the oldest stories on Earth. Maybe it's time to remind the galaxy how powerful that can be. Eun-ho nodded slowly. Then let's get started. We have a lot of work to do. 5 months passed quickly. At the main training base, Da-hyun Kim woke up early like he did every day. The Special Forces soldier had been one of the first to join the new animal-human teams. He got dressed and walked outside his cabin. Winter, come, he called softly. From the small shelter next to his cabin came a large white wolf. At least, she looked mostly like a wolf. Winter was bigger than normal wolves, and her eyes showed a special kind of understanding. Around her neck was a bond device that glowed with a soft blue light. Good morning, friend Da-hyun, came Winter's thoughts through their connection. Today is training day. Da-hyun smiled and patted Winter's head. Every day is training day now. The talk will be here in less than a month. They walked together to the main field where other human-animal teams were gathering. Da-hyun saw Commander Min Ji-yoon with her eagle, Storm. The large bird could fly higher and see farther than any natural eagle, thanks to the special gear attached to his wings and eyes. Nearby, Ranger Hyunwoo Kang was checking the armor on his bear companion, Thunder. The bear was gentle with Hyunwoo, but would be a powerful fighter when needed. Team leaders gather around, called General Park. He stood in the center of the field with maps and battle plans. While the humans talked, Winter went to meet the other animals. There were more wolves like her, forming a pack. There were also dogs of many breeds, horses with special armor, and even some big cats like tigers and lions. All wore the bond devices that let them share thoughts with their human partners. Today we will practice mountain attacks, Park told the team leaders. The Tak war beasts are big and strong, but they might not move well in rough ground. We need to use that. Dahyun looked at the mountain paths on the map. Winter and her pack can move fast on those trails. We can lead the war beasts into narrow spots where their size works against them. Good, said Park. Minji and Storm will watch from above and tell you where the enemy is. Hyunwoo and Thunder will wait in the narrow valley to surprise them. The teams moved out to their positions for practice. As Dahyun led Winter and 5 other wolves up the mountain path, he thought about how far they had come. At first, the bond only let them share simple thoughts. But after months of working together, Winter could understand complex plans. The wolves had learned to work with humans in ways no one thought possible. Winter looked up at him. You are worried about the fight, she said through their bond. Yes, Dahyun admitted. The Tak beasts are very big. I don't want you or the pack to get hurt. Winter made a sound that felt like laughter in his mind. Big is not always strong. The pack is smart. We are fast. We fight together. Dahyun nodded. Winter was right. The wolves didn't fight alone. And they didn't fight like the Tak beasts. They used their natural pack hunting skills, made better by human planning. From above, they heard Storm's cry. Through their bond devices, all teams got the message at once. Enemy coming from the east. Moving into position. It wasn't a real enemy today, just other teams pretending to be Tak for practice. But soon the real fight would begin. Ready, Winter? Dahyun asked, checking the light armor that protected her vital areas while still letting her move quickly. Winter's eyes met his, full of trust and determination. Ready, friend Dahyun. The pack follows you. As they moved into position, Dahyun felt something the Tak would never understand. He wasn't forcing Winter to fight. She chose to stand with him, as her kind had stood with humans for thousands of years. The practice battle would be hard, but the real test was coming soon. The Tak thought humans were weak because they didn't control through fear. They would learn how wrong they were. The human colony on Proxima Centauri was small but important. It was the first place humans had settled outside the solar system. Now it would be the first to face the Tak. Dahyun and Winter stood on a hill overlooking the main colony. Behind them were 20 more wolf-human teams hidden among the rocks. In the sky above, Minji rode in a small aircraft with Storm flying nearby, watching for the enemy. They're coming, Minji's voice said through their communication system. 5 big ships landing to the east. Dahyun touched the bond on his wrist. Ready, Winter? Ready, came her reply. The pack is ready too. They didn't have to wait long. The ground shook as the Tak forces approached. First came smaller alien soldiers on foot, carrying weapons. Then behind them rode the Tak warriors on their war beasts. Dahyun had seen images from the first contact, but these beasts were even bigger. Some looked like giant lizards with extra limbs. Others had features from what must be alien animals no human had ever seen. All had metal control devices driven into their flesh. The Tak commander, riding the largest beast, moved to the front. His 3 eyes scanned the colony, then stopped on Dahyun and Winter standing on the hill. Is this all? The commander shouted through a translator device. You send one small animal and its keeper to face us. Dahyun didn't answer. Instead, he touched his bond and sent a thought to Winter and through her to all the wolf pack. Now, what happened next shocked the Tak forces. Winter howled, a signal the Tak didn't understand, but all the wolves did. From hidden spots around the hills, the wolf pack attacked. They didn't charge directly at the war beasts. Instead, they darted in and out, biting at legs, and then jumping away before the bigger animals could strike back. The war beasts tried to fight, but something was wrong. Their talk riders were pulling on control devices, causing pain to make the beasts attack. But the pain made the beasts angry and confused. They started stepping on each other and on the smaller talk soldiers. From above, Storm and other birds dropped small devices that made loud noises and flashing lights. The war beasts, with their sensitive eyes and ears, became even more confused. "What is this?" shouted the talk commander as his mount spun in circles, trying to bite at the wolves nipping at its legs. Through their bond, Da-hyun could feel Winter's joy. This was what wolves did best, work as a pack to bring down larger prey. The humans had added strategy and technology, but the basic hunting pattern was as old as wolves themselves. On the other side of the colony, Hyunwoo and Thunder led bear teams in a direct attack on the talk supply lines. The bears, protected by special armor, were strong enough to flip over talk vehicles and tear through barriers. The talk commander pulled hard on his beast control device, forcing it to charge at Da-hyun. But Winter was faster. She jumped at the beast's face, clawing at its eyes before leaping away. The beast roared in pain and turned sharply, throwing its rider to the ground. Without its rider's painful control, the war beast stopped fighting. It looked around, confused, then began to back away from the battle. The beasts don't want to fight. Da-hyun called to the other human teams. They only attack when forced. Focus on the riders. As the battle continued, more talk were separated from their mouths. Without the pain devices controlling them, the war beasts either ran away or simply stood still, not knowing what to do with their freedom. By sunset, the talk forces were retreating to their ships. The human-animal teams had won the first battle with fewer losses than anyone had expected. They never understood, Da-hyun said to Winter as they watched the talk ships lift off. Their beasts fought for them because they had no choice. You fought with me because you chose to. Winter pressed against his leg. We are pack, she said simply through their bond. We protect each other. That is strength. Officer Krechtel of the Tuck Empire sat in a plane room on the human base. His three eyes moved nervously between the two humans facing him. One was General Park, and the other was a translator. Krechtel had never been captured before. In Tuck culture, captured warriors were usually killed or made into slaves. "Are you going to torture me?" Krechtel asked, his scaled skin changing color with fear. The translator spoke his words in Korean, and General Park shook his head. "No," Park replied through the translator. "That is not our way." Krechtel didn't believe him. All powerful species used force on the weak. That was the way of the universe. The door opened, and an old dog walked in. It was Max, Park's longtime companion. Max moved slowly now, his legs stiff with age. He sat beside Park, who gently patted his head. "What is that creature?" Krechtel asked. "Is it your war beast? It looks weak and small." "This is Max," Park said. "He is not a war beast. He is my friend and partner. We have been together for many years." Krechtel made a sound like stones grinding. "Friend. A true warrior uses beasts, not befriends them." Park leaned down to stroke Max's ears. "That is the difference between us. You rode monsters that fear you. We ride with companions who would die for us, not because they must, but because they choose to." "Choose." Krechtel almost laughed. "Animals do not choose. They obey, or they suffer." Park stood up. "Come with me. I want to show you something." Guards took Krechtel to another building. Inside was a medical center for the animal partners. Krechtel saw humans working to heal wounded animals. They used special equipment and gentle hands to treat injuries. A wolf was getting stitches on its leg. The human doctor spoke softly to it while working. Through a bond device, the wolf seemed to be answering. "You waste medicine on animals," Krechtel asked, confused. "When our war beasts are badly hurt, we kill them and make new ones. Every partner here is valued, Park explained. They risked their lives alongside us. We owe them the same care we give our human soldiers. Just then, a team of medics rushed in with a badly injured dog on a stretcher. Its human partner, a young woman, was crying beside it. "Stay with me, buddy," she kept saying through her tears. "Please stay with me." The medical team worked hard, but after many minutes, the dog's breathing stopped. The room became very quiet. The young woman put her head down on her partner's still body and cried harder. Krechtel watched, puzzled. Why does she show such weakness? It is just an animal that died. Park's face was sad but calm. That is not weakness. That is love. Buddy chose to protect her during the battle. He jumped in front of a TOC weapon that would have killed her. He gave his life freely. Krechtel had never seen anything like this. In the TOC Empire, sacrifice was forced, never chosen. As they walked back to the holding room, they passed the training field. Dahyun and Winter were there with other wolf teams. Krechtel watched as the wolves moved in perfect harmony with their human partners. No pain devices, no force. "I still do not understand," Krechtel said, but his voice had less certainty now. "Your war beasts obey you because they fear what happens if they don't," Park said. "Our animal partners stand with us because of a bond that goes back thousands of years on our world. When two species choose to help each other, it creates a different kind of strength." Park looked at Max, now sleeping peacefully at his feet. "It's a strength your empire has never known." For the first time, Krechtel wondered if the TOC had been missing something important all these years of conquest. 3 months after the first battle, the humans were no longer just defending. They were taking the fight to TOC space. Chief Engineer Soo-Jin Han stood in her workshop on the human battleship Courage. Around her were animal partners wearing the special gear she had designed. Each piece of equipment was made to fit a specific animal and help them do what they did best. "These new underwater brothers will let dolphin teams stay down 3 times longer," she explained to Han Jo-kwon, leader of the marine animal teams. "And the sonar amplifiers will help them see even in the muddiest water." Han Jae nodded, looking at the sleek dolphin waiting in the large water tank nearby. Her name was Wave, and she was one of the smartest dolphins in the program. "We'll need them for Hydraxis," he said. "It's an ocean world. The TOC have a big base there." Soo-Jin handed him the new equipment. "Be careful. My brother is on one of the wolf teams. He told me the TOC are getting desperate. They're making their control devices cause even more pain to push their war beasts harder." "That might work against them," Han Jae said, remembering what they had learned in previous battles. "The harder they push, the more their beasts want to break free." The Courage came out of faster-than-light travel near the blue planet of Hydraxis. It was a water world with just a few small islands. The TOC had built floating cities where they kept slaves from worlds they had conquered. Captain Tae-ho Kim, now in charge of the human fleet, called all team leaders to the command room. "Our mission is to free the slaves and destroy the TOC base," he explained, pointing to a map of the main floating city. "But the TOC have underwater war beasts guarding all approaches." Han Jae stepped forward. "My dolphin teams can handle that. Their war beasts may be big, but they won't be as fast or smart as dolphins in the water." The attack began at dawn. Han Jae and Wave led 20 dolphin-human teams into the dark water. Each human wore a special suit that let them breathe underwater and keep up with their dolphin partners. Through their bond devices, they could talk and plan while swimming. "TOC beasts ahead," came Wave's thoughts to Han Jae. "Big, slow, angry." Through the murky water, Han Jae saw them. Massive creatures that looked like a mix between sharks and squids, with metal control devices embedded in their flesh. TOC soldiers rode in bubbles attached to their backs, using pain to direct them. "Remember the plan," Han Jae told all teams through their bonds. "Don't attack the beasts directly. Target the control devices." The dolphins moved with amazing speed, darting in and out around the confused war beasts. Unlike the wolves who used teeth, the dolphins used the sound weapons Sujin had made for them. These sent out powerful sound waves that could break the talk control devices. One by one, the devices began to fail. As each one broke, the war beast it controlled stopped fighting. Some swam away, others turned on their talk riders. In the middle of the battle, Han-jae saw a talk commander's control device spark and fail. The commander hit it again and again, trying to make it work. The massive beast he rode shook violently, then turned its many eyes toward the bubble where its tormentors sat. With one powerful bite, the beast crushed the bubble and the talk inside it. On the other side of the battle, Han-jae saw something that proved what humans had learned. A human named Eunho had been separated from her tiger partner when her underwater breathing gear was damaged. As she struggled to the surface, a talk beast charged toward her. Her tiger, though unable to communicate through the damaged bond, swam in front of her, protecting her with its body until other humans could help. No control device made the tiger protect its human. Han-jae thought as the battle ended in another human victory. Only true loyalty could do that. Ju-ri Park moved quietly through the shadows of the alien city. The human diplomat now worked as an intelligence officer, making contact with species that had been conquered by the talk. She wore a hood to hide her human features. At her side walked a small fox-like animal called Whisper, who wore a bond device. "Someone is following us." Whisper's thoughts came through the bond. Her sharp ears had picked up sounds too quiet for human hearing. "Friend or enemy?" Ju-ri asked silently through their connection. Whisper sniffed the air. "Not talk. Similar smell to the ones we are meeting." They had come to the planet Viridian to meet with a group called the Hidden Ones. This world had been under talk control for 50 years. Its people, the Lurai, had been used as slaves and their animals taken to make more war beasts. A soft whistle came from a dark doorway. Ju-ri and Whisper slipped inside. 3 Lurai waited there. They looked somewhat like humans, but had green-tinted skin and large eyes. "You are the human?" asked one, named Tiro. "We heard stories but did not believe. They say you fight the talk with animal partners, not slaves." Ju-ri nodded. "It's true. We work together with our animals. They choose to help us." The Lurai looked at each other with doubt. The talk say all powerful species must control others through force. "This is the way of the universe. The talk are wrong," Ju-ri said firmly. She reached into her bag and took out several small devices. "These are bond devices. They don't control through pain. They help animals and people understand each other." Tiro touched one carefully. "Our ancestors used to live in peace with the creatures of our world before the talk came." "You can again," Ju-ri said. "These will help you connect with animals that haven't been taken by the talk yet. And I have something else." She showed them plans for the talk war beast facilities. There are 12 main places where they create their war beasts. 3 have already been destroyed by human-animal teams, but we need help with the others. The Lurai whispered among themselves. Then Tiro nodded. "We will help. What can we do?" "These facilities have many weaknesses," Ju-ri explained. "The talk never expected anyone to attack them from inside their own empire." As they planned, news of human victories was spreading through the talk empire. On conquered worlds, people who had lived in fear began to whisper about the strange humans who fought alongside willing animal partners instead of forcing war beasts to obey. In the main war beast facility on the talk homeworld, Emperor Graf was angry. Reports showed 3 facilities destroyed, and 5 others had stopped working after strange accidents. "How is this happening?" he demanded of his war beast director. "We don't know, Emperor," the director said, trembling. "Some of the handlers are acting strangely. They ask questions about the pain devices. Some have even refused to use them." "Execute them," ordered the Emperor, "and increase the pain levels on all control devices. The beasts must obey." But something else was happening that the talk had never seen before. The oldest war beasts, those that had suffered under the control devices for many years, were changing. The pain that once made them obey was now making them smarter, more aware. In the holding pens, the beasts were communicating with each other in ways the talk didn't notice. When the pain came, they still roared and thrashed as expected. But now, they were waiting, watching, learning. And deep in the Empire, the Lurai and other conquered species were using the bond devices Jurai had given them. They were making connections with animals in secret, building teams like the humans had done. They moved silently through the shadows, sabotaging talk equipment and freeing captive beasts when possible. The talk believed strength comes from forcing others to obey. Tiro told his growing rebel group, "The humans have shown us another way. We will not win by becoming like the talk. We will win by remembering who we were before them." As Juri prepared to leave for her next mission, she thought about how quickly things were changing. The talk had conquered through fear for centuries. They had never faced an enemy who used loyalty instead of fear as their greatest weapon. The talk homeworld had 3 moons that glowed red in the night sky. Under this light, human ships appeared in orbit. After a year of fighting, the war had come to the heart of the Talk Empire. On the command ship, General Park stood with Captain Tae-ho Kim and other leaders. Old Max lay at Park's feet, gray now all over his muzzle. Too old to fight, he still went everywhere with Park. "The Talk Emperor has called for a final battle," Tae-ho said, pointing to the main Talk city on the screen. "He's gathered all his remaining war beasts there." "And our allies?" asked Park. "In position," Juri reported. "The Lurai and other freed species are ready, and our intelligence shows something else. Many of the war beasts have failing control devices." Park nodded. "Then it's time to end this." As the sun rose, human-animal teams moved toward the Talk capital from all sides. Wolf packs led by Da-hyun and Winter. Bear teams with Hyunwoo. Bird teams flying above. And with them came members of a dozen alien species, each with their own animal partners connected by bond devices. The Talk Emperor Grath watched from his palace as the attackers approached. Around him were his best warriors, each on a giant war beast. "Increase all pain levels to maximum," he ordered. "The beasts must fight to the death." The Talk soldiers obeyed, turning up the controls. The war beasts roared in agony, their eyes wild with pain. They charged forward as ordered, but something was wrong. Some beasts moved slowly, fighting against the control. Others turned in random directions, and then it happened. One massive beast, scared from many battles, reached up with its clawed hand and ripped the control device from its own head. Blood poured from the wound, but its eyes showed something new: freedom. The beast turned and looked at its rider. For years, this talk had caused it nothing but pain. With one bite, the rider was gone. Then the beast turned toward the palace. Other war beasts saw this and began to do the same. The pain that had controlled them for so long had finally taught them to resist. One by one, they broke free. The human-animal teams didn't attack the freed beasts. Instead, they focused on the Talk soldiers still fighting. The wolves worked in perfect harmony with their human partners. The bears used their strength where needed. Birds provided information from above. By midday, the battle had reached the palace. Emperor Grath found himself facing General Park, who had come with a group of human and alien leaders. With them were their animal partners, all without restraints, all standing by choice. "It's over, Emperor," Park said. "Your control has failed." "Impossible," Grath growled. "Control is strength. Fear is power. That is the way of the universe." "No," Park said calmly. "That was your way, and it failed." All around the palace, freed war beasts were destroying the pain devices and control centers. Some disappeared into the wilderness. Others stood watching, unsure what to do with their new freedom. "How?" the Emperor asked, his three eyes blinking in confusion. "How did you defeat us?" Park knelt down to stroke Max's head. The old dog leaned against his leg, looking up with trust in his eyes. "True strength," said Park, "isn't measured by what you can force others to do. It's measured by what others will freely do for you." In the weeks that followed, the Tuck Empire changed forever. The pain devices were destroyed. The conquered worlds were freed. And something new began. Young Tuck, watching the humans and their animal partners, became curious. Some asked to learn about the bond. In a field near the former palace, a Tuck child sat nervously as a small earth dog approached her. No control device, no pain, no force. The dog sniffed her hand, then wagged its tail and licked her fingers. The child's eyes widened in surprise. "It chose to be kind to me," she said in wonder. "I didn't make it." Nearby, Da-hyun smiled as he watched with Winter at his side. "That's how it begins," he said. "With trust, not fear. With loyalty, not control." The Tuck had ridden monsters. Humans had ridden loyalty. And loyalty had won.